What if the mysterious Olmec civilization of Mesoamerica didn't just appear out of nowhere, but came from the old world? And what if, after centuries in the Americas, they returned across the ocean, raiding and conquering, only to be remembered in the Bible as Israel's greatest enemies? Now, it sounds impossible. A civilization in Mexico becoming the sea raiders of the Mediterranean? But when you trace the line of Ham, examine the rise of the Sea Peoples, and look at the cultural parallels between the Olmecs and the Philistines, the theory isn't as far-fetched as it first sounds.
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
And some things that should not have been forgotten were lost.
Man shall be ruled by law, not by the will of other men.
What is it? An ark. To hold the innocent. And the Creator sends his deluge to wipe out the wicked from this world.
The Lord of hosts will do battle for us. Behold his mighty hand.
Our theory begins with Ham, the son of Noah. According to Genesis, Ham's descendants spread into Africa and the surrounding regions after the flood. Some traditions hold that Ham's line was restless, seeking knowledge, power, and possibly remnants of the pre-flood world. One branch of Ham's descendants, our theory suggests, migrated across Africa. Following ancient rivers, they built ships or reed rafts, and eventually launched across the Atlantic. When they landed in the Americas, they became the Olmecs, the mother culture of Mesoamerica. But the story doesn't end there. The Olmecs, with their seafaring skills and warrior culture, may not have stayed in isolation. Instead, they may have returned across the Atlantic, this time as conquerors, joining the waves of sea peoples that terrorized the Mediterranean around 1200 BC. And in Canaan, they became known as the Philistines, the very enemies Israel faced in the time of Samson, Saul, and David. It's a bold claim, so let's see what evidence actually supports it. First, we have the mystery of the Sea People. Mainstream archaeology admits that around 1200 BC, a mysterious group called the Sea Peoples invaded Egypt, Crete, and the Levant. They're often described as outsiders with advanced ships and a warrior ethos. One branch of these Sea Peoples became the Philistines. But here's the mystery. No one knows exactly where they came from. Some say Crete, others point to Cyprus, Anatolia, or even further afield. An Atlantic origin, though never mainstream, isn't impossible. There's also evidence of contact between the Old and New Worlds before Columbus. Egyptian mummies have tested positive for nicotine and cocaine, plants native only to the Americas. This suggests some level of trade or contact across the Atlantic. If trade merchants could make the trip, then why not the Olmecs? The Olmecs carved colossal heads in the Americas, often depicting warriors with helmets. The Philistines were remembered for their warrior champions, most famously Goliath. The Olmecs had hybrid imagery, jaguar human figures echoing the Philistine worship of Dagon, a half-man, half-fish deity. Both traditions echo the corrupted legacy of the Nephilim and the Watchers. Both cultures embraced monumental architecture as well, with the Olmecs building massive ceremonial centers and the Philistines fortifying key cities like Ashdod and Gath. Genesis 10 lists Ham's descendants spreading into Africa and the coastal regions of the Mediterranean. The Philistines are directly connected to Ham through Mizraim. If the Olmecs are also Hamites, it creates a family connection between these two peoples, just separated by oceans and time. Now, of course, there are some serious challenges to this theory. The chronology doesn't line up perfectly. The Olmec Golden Age is dated between 1500 and 400 BC, while the Philistines appear in the Bible around 1200 BC. While the dates do overlap, there's no direct evidence that supports a correlation. And so far, no artifacts clearly connect the Olmecs to the Mediterranean. We don't see Philistine pottery in Mexico or Olmec jade in Canaan. The connection is circumstantial, based on parallels and possibilities. Most archaeologists already reject transatlantic contact before Columbus, despite growing evidence. Suggesting the Olmecs became the Philistines would be considered fringe or pseudo-history, which is my favorite. Even if the Olmec-Philistine connection is never proven, the theory highlights something bigger: the global spread of rebellion after Babel. From a biblical perspective, humanity was divided into nations, each under spiritual rulers. We see that in Deuteronomy 32. Ham's line, repeatedly tied to rebellion, may have carried with it the corrupted knowledge of the Watchers. Whether in Africa, the Americas, or Canaan, the pattern is the same: monumental architecture, hybrid gods, and opposition to the covenant people of God. So when David fights Goliath, he isn't just battling a giant Philistine. He's facing the same spiritual corruption that may have reached all the way to Mesoamerica. The battle is part of the ancient war between the seed of the woman and the seed of the serpent. So, could the Olmecs have returned from the Americas to become the Philistines? Well, the evidence is circumstantial, but it does fit into a broader biblical picture, one of rebellion spreading across the globe, and God's people standing against it. Whether or not the Olmecs and the Philistines were the same people, the message of Scripture is clear. The war against God's purposes was global, and so was his victory. And maybe that's the real takeaway here. These mysteries remind us that history isn't just about ruins and artifacts. It's about spiritual struggle playing out on the stage of human civilization. A struggle that points us back to Christ, who conquered every enemy, from the giants of the Philistines to the principalities and the powers behind them. So, what do you think? Were the Olmecs really a branch of Ham's descendants who returned to become the Philistines? Or is it just another case of connecting dots that don't exist? Leave me a comment below and let me know your thoughts. And if you want to learn more about the supernatural rulers that God placed over the nations after Babel, then click right here for my full documentary on the ancient gods of the world.